at participating locations. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
And we are here with a very special guest. 2 times New York bestseller. Is that correct?
That is
New York
correct.
Times.
New York, what did I say?
Not just the state of New York. New York Times bestseller.
The state of New York. Sorry, yeah. New York Times bestseller 2 times, Hannah Brown. Hannah, welcome to Happy Hour again.
I'm so glad to be here. It's a fun time.
Last time you were here was, I believe, almost a year ago, last summer, and we were talking about your first book, I believe. Or was it this one that we were talking about?
I feel like we talked.
No, we were talking about this. We were talking about you were currently in the process. I think you were finished writing it, but you were in the process of going through the publishing and all that.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, because it wasn't like out for everyone yet, but had announced it, I think.
Yes,
Maybe.
I think that's what it was. You had announced that you were coming out with a second book. Well, wow, what a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book is called Mistakes We Never Made. We have it right here. Now, my first question, what is more difficult, writing an autobiography like your first one or a fiction?
A novel,
Were you going to say a non-autobiography?
I swear I'm so stupid today. I've had a lot of coffee, so it's just
a
pure
bad
stupidity. Yeah,
I'm always apologizing for whatever's coming out of my mouth. I'm like, I don't know if it's making sense at all. But they were both difficult in like totally different ways. Obviously, like writing my quarter life memoir of everything I'd like experienced up to the ripe age of 25 was difficult because it was a lot of things I had really was just processing for the first time. And it really affected me emotionally, I will say. Like it was a really tough season. Like even just like waiting for it to come out was so hard for me. Like I was not in the best state because I was just like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? Are people going to view me differently? Can I adequately express myself in words in a way that people will like understand more about me? You know, there was a lot of that. And with this book, it was really hard because like I've never written a novel before and I don't know the plot points. Like I know the plot points of my own life. I've lived that, I've experienced that, like making up a whole new world and ecosystem that is Mistakes We Never Made, even though it's not like I'm writing fantasy and really having to make up, everything, but still like trying to like create characters to have depth and for people to like relate to. It was in story. Like heck, I can't even like finish a sentence as I'm talking sometimes. So to be able to like stay organized and create a story that has through lines that people can like keep up with was really hard. And so I'm so thankful for the team that I had, for my editor and for my ghostwriter, co-author that like helped me. Was really, they gave me like the encouragement to be able to be like, okay, you can do this and we are going to help you with the part that you've never done before. So it was, I think they're both hard, totally different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you write the story, do you create the world first and then write the story, or do you kind of like create and write the story as you're moving?
So people do it differently. For this project, it's so interesting. I'm working on my second novel right now, and it's written differently than the first one did, where they both have started out with a general, we've already done the plot points. Like we're not just writing and just seeing where it goes. We've created the story and then go into writing of like, who do we want these people to be? And what is the journey that they're going on? And then it's like, okay, we get into the page and then you have to like add all the the in between to the different places that we want to go in the story. So it's a little bit of both. I mean, the first book came together pretty seamlessly. Honestly, it was the story that I wanted it to be. Like, I kind of had this idea about like having like a group of girlfriends that people ask like, is Emma, or who is it you? And it's like, the idea was for these group of girlfriends to be kind of parts of me. And exploring that part, if I was more of that part of myself, like what type of character or person would I be? So that was like the initial thought. Like, I actually had like a full different project that like never came to be before even this one that had that similar thing, but it was a young adult novel. And then scratch that, but that same like friendship being kind of the center, and then exploring, you know, the main character from the friend group and her journey for love, and then how, you know, the friends in your life, how, you know, they are a part of that love story and kind of a separate love story in itself of your friendship. And then it was like, okay, so how are we going to do that? And who's kind of going to be the first friend that I kind of expand, and then it all started.
So is that where book 2 is going to go, is like a different friend in that existing friend group?
Yes.
Okay. So it'll kind of be like a series, but it won't be following one character.
Yeah. Sometimes when you say series, people think like, oh, like there's going to be like some cliffhanger. I guess my book kind of did. I kind of did mean for it to have a cliffhanger of people. I wanted people to know more, but like the story of Emma and Finn is like tied together with a bow. But I did want people to be interested enough in some of the other characters to want to know, okay, like what's going on in their world for me to write a next book, you know, exploring that, so people are excited about it. So yes, it is a series, but they all kind of like stand alone for sure.
Okay, nice.
What happens when you get, what do you do when you get stuck? Because I'm assuming there's got to be times where you get like writer's block or whatever, and you're kind of just stuck.
Yeah, I get stuck a lot. Especially like, it's weird. I was thinking about this morning. I sometimes have a hard time. People ask like, how do you write? I'm like, for myself, when it's not work, I have a really hard time. I've been blocked for a while, honestly, on that. And I don't know why. I need to explore that more. I like have to push myself to write. With this, because there's a team and there are people that are staying on top of me and that I can like reach out to and help and are supporting, and it's not just me. It makes it a lot easier. Like I had like the privilege to be able to lean on people, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm feeling about this. This is how I'm wanting it to go, but it kind of sounds like this, or I don't know where this character should really go. This is not fully panning out. Like I have lifelines to reach out to and to really help make this book better than it could be if it was just me. Like truly editors and having the editor that I've had and co-author and just the team, like so thankful for. Like we work so seamlessly together, and that's not always the case even when you do have, you know, your editor and stuff. So like I've been really fortunate to just have people who like understand me and value everything I have to say, but also like can give their experience and their feedback in a way that it's still staying true to my voice, but helping like ground the book with the experience and knowledge they have.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. I think when you
Beachbound Vacation, go to beachbound.com.
Every day, made to fit flawlessly. Exclusive looks and elevated
I kind of just, because I'm
.com and wear it like no one else.
How did you pick the cover or design it?
I kind of just, because I'm a reader myself, and like one of my favorite places to be is Barnes and Noble. I kind of just looked at things that I was drawn to. I love like a Taylor Jenkins Reid, like her like Malibu Rising, and
cover.
then like even like it's so
Yeah.
beautiful, or like a Carly Fiction, more that like
I was gonna say it
landscape.
reminds me of I feel like it has a similar aesthetic to like Meet Me. Did you read Meet Me by the Lake? It has
Yeah,
like kind of like the bright, like colorful. It has like a summer feel to it, like the font.
Yes. That was really important to me. I get like, I think we're working on my paperback version of the book, and it will have more like it'll be different. It's weird. Like people ask like, how did you pick the cover? I'm like, I did go off of like what I prefer, but there's also a whole part of it of like market research of what people are like
drawn to.
Going to. It's not like a fun answer, but it's just truth.
But that's an interesting answer because I feel like that's like the data that people just don't know.
You have to use that.
It's like you're using like what like I'm drawn to, what readers are drawn to like figure it out. It's like this is what I'm subconsciously drawn to. I didn't even know.
Yes, definitely.
Have you read First Wing?
No, Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing. Fuck.
Joe's reading Iron Flame right now.
I am, yeah.
He's on number 2. I'm reading A Court of Mist and Fury. We're like really in our fantasy era in this apartment.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I have read ACOTAR. I haven't finished them because I got stuck in the third book. The one that you're on is so
That's
good.
what everyone's. I'm halfway through the second one right now, and it's so good. It's just gotten now like really good. And everyone says the ending's crazy. The first one like was a struggle to get through, but
the third one was really hard for me, and I kind of got like stuck in it. People are like, you just got it. But people say it is one of the hardest one, but the fourth and fifth are supposed to be so good. So I'm like,
Danny, who does BachelorNation.com, she was telling me whatever the shortest one is
the best.
No, she said to skip it. She was like, you could she's like, you could honestly you could literally skip that one. It's like a spin-off book situation where you like don't need to read it. I mean, I'm not going to, but like I was like, oh, okay. But I feel like everyone has different like perceptions of the series and like where their favorite moments lie.
No, but I genuinely think the third one says it's harder. Like it is a harder read. And I was just doing a lot and I kind of like faded off of it.
Well, they're not short either. If it's a hard read, you're like
800 pages. Yeah. It's something ridiculous. So, or 900, I don't remember. The one that I got stuck in, I think, I have them all up there. The big boy, it's the big one. But the Fourth Wing, right?
Yeah.
I had so many people on my book tour be like, you have to read these
you haven't read it yet?
I haven't.
It's so good.
It is really good.
Truly, it's so good. And it's written in a way that it's like...
I hate that I like it.
Well, it's like an addicting read because it's just constantly like something is happening. You're constantly on a cliffhanger. Like it moves so fast. So it's like a fat book. It's like it's very thick. But like, it's like I've never read a book so fast. Like we went to Miami and I finished it in like 4 days because I was just like, I can't stop.
I love when that happens. Like when I'm like so sucked in on like a big book. Like some people don't like the women or any Kristen Hanna books out, like they're bigger, but like I get like so sucked into it. Obviously, it's different. It's historical fiction, but like I love having I think it's great if you have time to be able to like consume a book like that. But like my book, I feel like it was important for me to like make sure it's one of those that people could like pick up, read. And I've had so many people being like, I literally read your book in a day. And I'm like, that's what I want it to be.
That's like the biggest compliment.
Yes. Yeah. That you can consume in 1 or 2 sittings and feel like light afterwards. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump to reality TV, but something that doesn't make you think too much. We'll go to we recapped your night one. Let's start with Chris Harrison calling you, asking you to be the Bachelorette. How shocked were you in that moment? And who else were you expecting could potentially be that next lead? Like, who did you think you were competing with?
I was genuinely so shocked. Like, obviously,
you could tell watching it.
Yeah. I had done interviews for it, but, you know, up until that point, there had never been a bachelorette that wasn't in like a final, like going to hometown.
Right.
So me even having those conversations, I think sometimes it like hurt me because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to happen. Like, I think I could be a good option like for this. Like I'm was so genuine about the whole experience. And it was like, are these people going to see me and see what I can offer? And I just didn't know. And the reason that they even, like, why it still was so shocking, they're like, there was cameras in my houses. They told me that they were going, and they did kind of wait to the last minute to make the decision. So like, it's taking so long that we've got to start getting some type of B-roll and stuff going. So I was like, okay. And they came to the house, and so I just genuinely was so shocked. I remember one of the producers of me, she was acting, we were in my room, and she was like, hey, let's just go out to the living room. And I was like, okay. And she had like, there was a phone, my phone, and I guess she had like put Chris Harrison's name. I don't remember, but it was something weird. And then I'm like, why is this on my phone? And then like opened it, and then I will never forget, I was sitting on the couch with it, and like in storms all the cameras, because actually the cameras weren't there. I didn't see the cameras, only the producers there were to scout. So they were getting to meet my family and everything. And then these like cameras just rushed through the front door, and I was, oh my gosh, like, this is real.
I personally think that's like best case scenario.
That you don't have time
Yeah,
to like, think about it.
I feel like if you almost want to just like, just throw me into the wolves kind of situation. Even like when they asked me to do Dancing with the Stars, it was the same thing. I was shocked. They asked me Chris Harrison asked me on stage, and I walked backstage like, hey, you have 48 hours. You have to go back to Chicago and move your stuff to LA. And I was like, all right. Yeah. But if I had time to think about it, like if I had a month, I feel like I wouldn't have done it. I would have been so stressed out.
Yes. Yes and no. I think being prepared to do the dance, like a dance show, I could see like the fear of that. But I think having a little time to prep for what it actually means to be the Bachelorette, and the vulnerability of like trying to meet somebody and like even know yourself enough to be able to stand in that confidence of what it takes to like receive all that. I think I would have loved to have a little time because I was already feeling like an underdog.
Like you said, like they typically go with someone, I think literally up until your season, who is in Final Four, who's like at the very least on a hometown date. So you're probably thinking like, there's 3 girls that they're talking to that like were all in his top 4 from the same season you were. Like, you're probably feeling like I'm an option, but like, am I actually going to get it? Like when there's no one before you that has gotten it, that hasn't made it to hometowns. And you do look so shocked. So it makes sense. Cause I was like, I would have thought like the cameras might have given you like a little like, like something's going on here. But like to feel like you're already in that position of like, I don't think I'm going to get it. And then like have them rushing in while you're already on the phone. Like that must've been so overwhelming. And then being a girl, like I just think about like the 3-day prep I do to go on like a 4-day like beach vacation. Like I can't I can't imagine like being like, okay, you're going to be leaving to be like the lead of this show. Like, good luck. I'd be like, I need to go get my hair done. I need to go to Pilates. Like, I don't know. I need to buy like my whitening strips. Like, I got a lot to do.
Yeah. Like I had nothing, like, and genuinely like, that was really, really hard. Like I had so many meltdowns when we were doing like our first interviews, and there's like a stylist, Carrie, who does the wardrobe and everything. And we're so close to this day. Like he'll literally just text me like he loves me, and he like bought my book, and like we are very, very close. But he was like, that first time I met you, I was like, oh my God, what's that? Because I just would start crying because I'm like, I just felt so overwhelmed. I had literally nothing ready, prepared, and I'm just having to trust these people to take me around. It was a lot, but also in the same breath, like it was so exciting. I was like, my life genuinely like completely just changed in a matter of seconds. My brain like doesn't know how to compute this, and it was really even through all the emotional breakdowns, like it was fun.
I feel like one of the reasons why people loved you so much is because when you're on the show, and I do think this is somewhat of a talent. I don't think every lead has this. You really are genuinely yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Is that easy to do? Like, were you ever fighting that? Were you ever like, I should maybe be a little more reserved here, or I shouldn't really say how I feel because I don't want to open up right now?
I think the one time that I fought it was my first date with Colton when I was on The Bachelor. Like, that was like I was still being so genuine, but like, I think I was having that struggle of like, I don't know how to not be myself, but I feel like I shouldn't be. And I'm trying to like, and it was a disaster. And I think from that, I was like, okay, I literally can't pretend. So we're just have to go like fully into this. I don't think I really know another way to be. And I'm really bad at the alternative. So it's like, I only have one option.
Same. I'm the same way. I mean, that's why I went home night one, because I was truly like, okay, you need to be like, you have to be smooth. You got to be really, slick about this. And I'm like, I'm so bad at it. Like, I could only be myself, which is a mumbling imbecile. That's what I'm good at.
And I'm so thankful, I will say, like, I do think the show kind of helped change the way that it did things to cater to my strengths, and allowed me to be that way, and kind of like gave me a little room to flex and to figure things out and to mumble through it and to say the wrong thing. And they always like made fun, like, it's so interesting, like you're thinking while you're talking, so it might take you a second, but then you finally get there, and then it's something like really like, oh wow, like you feel that, but it takes a second. And before me, it felt like the bachelorettes were always had like this perfect answer and knew exactly what to say and did the right thing, and that they just allowed me to be myself. Like, I'm genuinely like so thankful for, because if they had tried to like rein me in some way, it would have been really bad. Like genuinely really bad. Like, I'll do things sometimes, now, like different opportunities, and I can feel myself wanting to like emulate what I think they want me to be, and it sucks every time. Like, it's like, that is not like what I'm good at. Like, I'm not an actress at all. Like, so it's either you want Hannah, but if you want me to play a character, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah.
I think when you're in a relationship, being able
Vacations, perfect beach. Be the first to try.
Who decided to take a risk and start a business.
Because with great risk, you took all the losses.
$2 million.
Comes great reward.
It was their best sale of all time. It literally crushed their website. Website shut off. Everything sold out.
This is The Unshakables from Chase for Business and Ruby Studio. Listen on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Boston Proper is for women who love distinctive style in styles that don't define them. Boston Proper designs are unique and made to fit flawlessly. You know the fashion changes, but style is forever. And yours is your Boston Proper is your source for the...
I think, obviously, Luke...
Looking back at night one, what guys really stood out for you that night? In the moment. In the moment,
I think, obviously, Luke P did. I mean, that's who I gave my first impression rose to. I think because he was somebody that I'd met when I was announced.
Right, yes.
Well, what did you think? What did you think when he hopped on the limo and roared? Was that, were you like, I like...
I was just like, whoa, okay. like I didn't have a preconceived like notion of who he was. So I was just like, all right, like he's just really, I'm trying to think, like, obviously that one stuck out. I haven't watched back the show.
Pete, it seems like Pete, watching.
It was so, it was classic,
watching it seems like Pete night one, like rewatching it, we're like, oh, this guy's probably going to be the Bachelor. if they don't end up together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes out in full
1000%.
uniform. He
Yeah.
gives you his wings,
Yeah.
which like you then gave back to him on his season because
It
we
was so
also did a
sweet.
recap of his night one. So he had a nice clean
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah.
A few others that we saw were like obviously
Yeah.
Tyler Cameron, Mike Johnson.
So the thing about Tyler that people like, I thought he was drunk or something was wrong with him when we first, like, I was like, is this guy, like, I asked the producers to check on him. I was like, I think there's something going on. And I think he was just nervous, but like, that is how his eyes were like barely open. I'm like, is this guy here with us? I'm not sure. Like, he's obviously like attractive, but people, will of course always ask me about, the top
Yeah.
people in that I ended up like connections with. And so like there wasn't actually
Did you
a
almost cut him?
connection with him the first night.
Yeah, it makes
I
sense.
almost
'cause you can
did,
tell,
because I
like, you
didn't
don't
talk-
really see him.
No, he's
episode 1.
he's literally barely in your episode 1.
And I even know like it's hard to get your time and there's so much going on, but I was just like, this guy's not
That's so funny.
serious. I really liked the other
Yeah.
Tyler, who I went on my first date with. I had a really off the bat like connection with him. He was so kind and just had great conversation. Mike, I loved Mike from the beginning because he's just very well spoken, and I think he's somebody that I just like could easily talk to because everyone is
Yeah.
so nervous, and I'm still trying to figure out my role. But I do think like one thing I did pretty well my first night is because I am so like, hey, like it's okay if you're nervous. Like I was able to hold that space for a lot of the guys. Well, but the first night it's really hard to like. I felt like I was almost like
Yeah.
babysitting the whole time of like, how are you feeling? What's going on? All right, you got this. Say what you prepared.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Where I
kind of
feel
more
like Mike's
that.
conversation, because we did see a little clip of it, he was very confident and was asking you in-depth questions. And I feel like tell me if I'm wrong because I've never been the lead, but the people that come out really confident and comfortable probably stand out just based on that alone because so many people are like detrimentally nervous.
Yes, absolutely. And it like I said, there's like almost like this job to be like making sure people feel comfortable. So if somebody's already like, hey, I don't need that. I need you. I just want to like get to know you. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
they're like one step
thank
ahead.
you. This feels really nice. Yeah, totally. Like Mike was somebody I thought about giving my first impression rose to for sure. So like I do remember that of being like, this was just a really great conversation and didn't feel that need to not play a role, but like step up into a role. I could just be myself and have a genuine first conversation.
Going to bed that night, where was your head at as far as like, did you think like I can end up being with one of these guys? Like where was the confidence level there?
To be really honest, the first night for me, I thought that I met a lot of great guys, but the confidence, there's some people like, oh my gosh, I feel like my person is here for sure. It was even hard. I don't know if you can like listen back to how I said it, but it was hard for me to be like, my husband is in this room. I think I kind of like cushioned it a little bit.
You like
'cause I was
circled
I don't
around that
know.
statement, I feel like a lot, where you were like, I feel really good about this group of guys, but like you weren't.
Yeah. I feel like my husband could, but like, if I went for my first gut and I would have stayed there, I was like, it's not that these guys are bad. I just don't know
Yeah.
if my
Well,
person's
you were
here.
right.
I really,
Yeah.
and I said that, and I said that in the back room. Yeah. And they were like, everyone feels this way the first night. Like, it's so hard. They started naming off some people and they're like, and they're together and happy. And I'm like, okay.
But I actually like that because when people like night one, and I'm sure there are some people that actually feel this way when they say it, but when they're like, oh my God, I know that my husband's in this room. I know my husband's in this room. I'm
It's
always
like,
like,
how?
but how do you
How do
know?
you know that?
How
Like,
do you know that? You can't.
Exactly.
Especially because you're
You
not
can't.
seeing
You
people's
can't.
best selves most of the time night one.
Even when we met each other, it wasn't like we were both like,
No.
I know this is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
No, not at all. I was like, I could maybe see myself like falling in love with
Yeah.
this guy for sure, but I wasn't like, my husband's
Yeah.
on this beach. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, even like
now.
my fiance now, I was like, I like this guy, but like, I'm not like, you're it. You know, I'm gonna like make a toast to us right now. Like that would be freaking weird in real
Yeah.
life.
how long did it take you to like, what point in the season were you like, ooh, I think like this is going to work out?
There's this conversation between me and Chris Harrison. I think I was holding so much responsibility, and I am pretty empathetic. So like one thing I've learned about myself, why people will ask like, how are you good at these like competition shows? Because I feel like it is a talent. It helps me in a lot of situations to be able to literally cut off everything else and just be focused on what's in front of me. So if I was on a date with Jed or with Peter or Mike, I was fully focused on that. And I couldn't like, it was the putting people up against each other in a way, because you are like, okay, I had a really fun date with Mike. I wasn't thinking about the other people while I was on that date, which is good. Like you think that's a good thing. I think it's great for the date itself, but being able to like make decisions on who I want to be with was really tough, especially when I got down to like the last chunk, and then knowing, you know, even when I get to like my final four, so then you're making decisions like every other day, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
I can't like put my heart fully into this when I have to shut that off and go into the next date with somebody else. It was really, really hard for me. So I would say after that conversation with Chris Harrison and having this whole, like, I think I want to quit, I realized, okay, how I'm doing it actually makes sense. Like, I think the way I was doing it, if I could have had longer time, was the best way to do it. But I'm not going to be able to allow myself to like fall for anyone doing that. And so after that, I kind of made the switch to like, all right, I'm going to like push myself all the way in. And then that's when it started to change for me, but it was fully going against like
your intuition,
every
intuition. Well,
yeah.
Now look at you. Now you're engaged. And okay, last time we had you on this podcast, we were talking about potentially like you're going to start planning a wedding. How's wedding planning going? Where you at with it?
Yeah, so I think I started talking to you right before that I had started, but I'm basically at the same place because I was like, yeah, I'm going to be able to do this with this book coming out and a few other things. And that was hilarious. Like,
I mean, you're writing multiple books all the time.
Yeah,
so.
like I had already was starting book 2 and releasing like, you know, doing all the public, why can't it? I can't say the word.
Publicity?
The press publicity.
That's the word. Yeah, like all that for book 1. So it was just a disaster. It stopped really quickly after it started. But was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We kind of started the process. I think I told you I want to do like destination wedding. Mm-hmm. So we're just trying to plan a time to go look at narrow down a few of the venues and go look at them. I just have not been in town. Like,
yeah,
this has been the longest I've been in town since first week of April, I think. And I've been sick the whole time. So haven't really had much time. Yeah.
Did you get a wedding planner?
Yes, I have a wedding.
Okay, nice. Mm-hmm. That is a lifesaver.
They're great. Yeah.
And then do you have an idea where you guys want to go on your honeymoon?
Okay. I kind of we love Europe, so I could see us doing, he's never been to Italy. I have been to Italy, but I think that could be fun. We have a few things. One of my dream vacations is an African safari. So I could see that, but also I want to be I guess if we went to like Cape Town or whatever, we'd be by the beach. But I do want like a relaxing part of the trip and then like do some fun, crazy adventure thing.
Yeah.
Scott, I don't know. That's
honeymoon planning is like, it's hard to pick. Like it feels like a big decision on like where you're going to go and what you want to do. Like
what did y'all do?
We did Italy. So we went to Lake Como.
Which I highly suggest because Lake Como was
Literally
beautiful and so
insane.
chill. Like,
yeah, you can like go out into the town.
Well, we're going to Lake Como next summer anyway for my assistant's wedding. So we've already got that checked off, which is great. So I'm like,
That's amazing.
that kind of made us think maybe
Yeah.
we already got
Because
that
then you
in.
could jump around Italy if you're already going there. But
Yeah.
Joe like booked our whole honeymoon. And I think we had flights at one point to like 3 different places because like we couldn't decide. We were like had flights to Bali. We had a hotel in like Hawaii booked. We had flights to Italy. Like we
This
were
is all
just
true.
all at one point I was like, all right, like where are we going? Because we can't go to all 3 of these places at the same time.
yeah, I'm a mess in general. And then when I start planning something, I'm just all over the place.
But you
Like,
did a great job.
Yeah, but it
It
came
turned
together.
out great.
It
But
came
I
together.
highly recommend
No,
like
I get it.
a relaxing component. Highly recommend.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Hannah, before we let you go, you want to play a quick rapid fire game?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's do this. Rapid fire questions with Hannah Brown. Get to know me questions. First thing that comes to your head, all right?
Oh gosh. Okay.
What's an essential in your purse?
Like a lip gloss and a pencil. I'm not a pencil, a pen.
Okay.
One of those. Yeah.
Heels or flats for night out?
A kitten heel in between.
I don't know what that is. Silver or gold jewelry?
Now, after I got my color analysis, silver.
Oh my God, I want to do one so
You gotta do it.
bad.
It's fun.
What did
It's
you
fun.
get?
I'm the summer.
You're a summer. Okay. Is that what you thought you were going to be?
No, I was wanting to be something warm, and because I tan really easily, so I was like, oh, and like have warmth. I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to be like an autumn or spring, and I wasn't. So,
Wait, can you do this
summer's
can you do this on the internet?
You can, but you can also like go to someone.
I went to someone.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
It's fun.
I'll do that with you.
Yeah, we should do it together.
I want to know my color analysis.
If anyone does this that listens to this podcast, reach out to Joe and I.
Okay, go-to perfume.
It's a little pricey, but it's my favorite. I don't even tell people normally, but I guess I'll tell you guys. It's Roja 51.
Okay.
It smells amazing. It's the best.
All right. Favorite way to unwind?
Rotting on a couch and watching some type of like a movie. Yeah.
An essential part of your writing process.
I would say, gosh, like a lot of Zoom calls with other people helping me take all my ideas and make sure that they're organized. That is a very essential for everyone that reads a book of mine to be like, whoa, let's get this under control, because there's like 4 things going on right now in one. So yeah.
What's one thing on your bucket list?
Like I said, to go on an African safari.
A favorite quality about your fiance?
Oh my gosh, just his willingness to continue to grow. Yeah.
Favorite book that you've written?
That I've written.
Yeah, so far.
Mistakes we never
Okay,
made,
good.
of course.
Smart. Good answer. If you said the other one, I'd be like, yeah.
Joe's like, promote the new one.
Yeah. Who is someone that inspires you?
Honestly, I know it sounds so cheesy to say, but like my fiance really does inspire me. Just his patience with me and the way that like our relationship has unfolded, like the way he's grown and changed and been there for me. Like, yeah, I'm very inspired by him. It's a great thing to have your partner be somebody who inspires you.
100%.
Wow, what a lovely answer to end this podcast. Hannah, thank you so much for coming on. And to our listeners, make sure you check out Mistakes We Never Made, Hannah's book and her other books and her podcast. Anything you want to say, Hannah, where people could, I mean, people know you, but it's going to be like, people know where to follow you.
Just, like I said, my favorite book that I've ever written is Mistakes We Never Made, and it makes for a great beachside pool read. I'm just so thankful for, I'm sure there's people here that are listening that have read it, and all the feedback that I'm getting has just been so awesome. But check it out if you haven't yet. And this was so fun.
Awesome.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
It's the book of the summer. And to our listeners, make sure you subscribe to our podcast. And thank you guys for listening.
We will have new and exclusive interviews every single week as we gear up for Jen's season of The Bachelorette, which is airing soon. And don't forget to subscribe to Bachelor Happy Hour. Bye.
Bye.